Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. I'm back again with another Attack on Titan video. Now, this is the episode 3 review, and I'm actually going to give you an extra today, so you're going to get another one immediately following this for episode 4. Now, I do understand that last week I gave a rundown and then one episode. I should have given two, but this week I'll make up for it by giving this the fourth episode. So let's get into this and let's start off with episode 3. Episode 3 starts immediately in the training area for recruits. Now, there's not a lot that happens in terms of actual incidents, but there's a lot that happens in terms of understanding where things are. So, the first thing we get to understand is the commandant who's training them, his first objective is to push them through a massive amount of stress and pressure so that they relinquish their ideals. He wants them to become blank slates. In other words, it's a way for you to educate or brainwash. Education is a form of brainwashing, so nonetheless, that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to eliminate everything they've learned from their parents, from everybody else, make them a blank slate through pressure and stress, and then through intense training and dedication, he will firmly make them believe in the military doctrine. So that is the whole idea, to change their point of view so that the only thing they fear is that training. He's meant to be that scary for them. He's meant to be this force for them to fear every time they think of abandoning any type of order. So that is the first thing that we get. It's spoken of by two commanders, and then they ask, why is he passing by certain students and not pushing them through the stress? So he says there's no use in pushing those students to stress. They've already seen horrors greater than he can inflict. He can see it from their eyes. Now, those are those who've seen the Titans firsthand, who witness them eating people, who witness people dying in front of them from the Titans. So they understand that the stress from that is so great, there is no way they can totally brainwash those individuals. So they focus on the rest of them and trying to get them in order. Now, as they're going through, they introduce each person. We have several individuals who stick out. That's John or Sean. I'm not sure which way his name is actually pronounced. It's too quick for me to understand. Then there's Connie and Sasha, the potato girl. So the three who stick out the most from those three is because of the following reasons. John's smiley and happy attitude towards running away from everything is the first thing that you notice him give to us as an audience. He actually says he doesn't want to be on the front lines. He wants to hide away. He wants to live a nice, cozy life when nobody can interfere with him, where he can be happy. That's exactly what he says in episode 1, just showing how much of a coward he is in terms of reality. Then moving on to the next person to come into it was Connie. Connie shows how dumb he is by pushing the salute the incorrect way. He pulls his left hand across his chest to the right hand side when you're supposed to pull your right hand across to your heart, because the thing which they're doing is give your heart and soul to the cause. That is the reason why they salute with the right hand over the left hand side, to signify that they're giving their heart to the cause, heart and soul to the cause, everything for your purpose. Now, that is the first thing that they've learned, how to salute, and he has done it wrong. He gets heavily pressured by the commandant, and that is the end of him from what we learn. And then the next person we see is Sasha. She has done two things wrong at the exact same time. She's disregarded rules and stolen food, which he can't understand. They're hungry, so they're going to steal food from time to time. He understands that they're going to want to eat. They're obviously going to get punished for it, but he just doesn't understand, why would you do it in front of everybody? This is the worst possible place to have stolen food and eaten, because the punishment is going to have to be far worse because of what she's doing. And as he's screaming at her and shouting at her, she breaks off a piece and says, "You want half." And it just drives him absolutely crazy, so he punishes her, and that's how we get introduced to her. Then further down the line, we get introduced to some of Sean's more problematic characteristics when he first butts heads with Eren. Now, when it comes to Eren, Eren is talking to the rest of them about Titans, because he is one of the very few who has actually seen the Colossal and Armored Titan, and they go through the whole situation that happened in that front line. the horror of that day. And he suppresses the horror with his will to kill the Titans and get vengeance for his freedom, for his determination, for everything that he wants. He pushes back fear to the point that it doesn't hold him back. His greatest fear is to be leveled to that situation. He wants to grow greater. And that is exactly what he says. And him and Sean butt heads over that. And then Sean gets a crush on Mikasa from that moment. They have a conversation outside, and then it's off to the next day. But wait, before they get to the next day, there's the whole scene with Historia and Sasha where she actually feeds her out of kindness. Now, Historia is that type of a person. We learn more about her as the story progresses, but for now, we just know that she is this kind individual. Following her was Ymir. She is one of the other cadets. She follows behind her and asks, "Why are you doing something like this? What are you trying to get out of it?" And she is looking for the deeper meaning behind everything a person does. Looking through the facades that you put on for reality, she is one of the key aspects of what you need to see. And there's several of these characters who you're going to have to focus on moving forward. Now, the next day, they start what's called ODM gear, or omnidirectional mobility gear training, and Eren totally washes out in it. He can't do anything right, can't even keep his balance. He's the wrong way around, non-stop. He can't get anywhere. Nobody understands what's going on. He doesn't even understand it himself. It seems so simple, but he can't even keep his balance. And he knows that if he fails this, he's going to get kicked out because he can't complete the training if he can't use the gear. They move on with this whole situation, they push forward, and he starts asking everybody for help. Now, Sean is jealous of him because Mikasa is so close to him, so he treats him like an absolute jerk. Connie rats him out because of his big mouth and some of the words he's used previously for those who couldn't handle the pressure of training. And that's just about it. A lot of people are motivating him, saying he can do it. And finally, he goes to Bertolt and Reiner. Now, Bertolt and Reiner are a very special situation. We're leaving them till the point where their whole situation comes to light. But for now, they go and they recap the situation that led them to be into the formation of the scouts. Now, this is just a recap of what they said happened to them. Now, obviously, I do know a lot more of the story. I've watched it all the way to the most current episode, so I know a lot more about it than I'm letting on. And same thing with them, they do the exact same thing. They just let off the story. And moving forward from this point comes a lot of turmoil. The next thing to follow with it is the test, which happens the next day to determine who is going to be on and who's going to be off. And Eren goes for it, and he's getting ready to pull off his maneuver to show that he has the strength to stand as a scout. And as he tries, he fails again. He actually managed to balance, and after he fails, he's let down, and the commandant tells him to take off his belt and switch it out with someone else. And then we find out that one of the clasps inside his belt that helped them balance with the two sides being pulled up was actually broken. Now, since it was broken, it meant that his balance kept getting transferred off all the time, no matter what he did. So it should have been impossible for him to pass. But he still managed to pull off some balance, meaning that he was exceptional on the gear as well. He's one of the best in his class. They progress from that, and we get to see the first rounds of them training as they're jumping through a field with the omnidirectional gear, moving around and practicing their maneuvers with the gear so that they can actually fight Titans. And that is where episode 3 ends. So here we go with the first 3 episodes. That is the whole story up to this point. Moving on, the next time that you get an episode from me is going to be episode 4. Now, some of the key aspects of this particular episode was we understand that there's a lot of ideals and goals from the characters inside the entire main cast, and we're going to get to see some of the ideals as they develop. There's a lot of side characters who are introduced. We understand their motivation, like there's the individual who wants to give life and limb for the king. He's an idealistic fool, basically. He falls into the perfectly brainwashed individual. He doesn't see the realities around him. He only sees what he wants to see for his own benefit. And that's just about it. Then we get to see John, we get to see Connie, we get to see several others. We get to understand their motivations for being there. but things do get worse and worse as we go on to the next stage. And I hope that you all do continue following along with my journey through the episodes. See you all in the next one. Have a good day.